Let me tell you a story. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was another beautiful Sunday morning in 2011. But on this particular morning, I did something different. I decided to change my daily regimen and go to the gym early. Nothing unusual when I walked through the door or when I went to the locker room to stash my stuff. It wasn't until I entered the gigantic workout area and headed to the free weights that it happened. She was there, across the room, on the treadmills, hair pulled back in a ponytail, gazing into space, listening to her earbuds. I thought I'd never see her again. It had been at least a year. Before that, I'd spot her every afternoon. We'd be on the machines across from each other, exchanging glances and smiles. Fun little games of cat and mouse. God, I was so attracted to her. I'd get excited just at the idea of going to the gym so I could see her again. She was the kind of girl that you see and you just know she's something special. But I never spoke to her. Not once. I simply knew that I'd never be able to have someone that special. I just wasn't the kind of guy she wanted to be with. You know, the guy I'm talking about. Fun-loving guy, life of the party guy, super social, tons of friends, cool. I used to be that guy, but then I got sober, and that just wasn't me anymore. So all I could ever do was just smile at her and wish. This went on for years, and then one day she disappeared. She just stopped coming to the gym. And I knew I'd miss my chance. I'd never see her again. Until now. Now here she was. And this time, it was going to be different. I had 4 years of sobriety behind me. I was feeling better about myself. And I wasn't going to miss my chance again. I was going to talk to her. I was going to ask her out. And as soon as I realized that, I started getting scared. You see, in the 4 years since I'd been sober, I'd never dated. Well, actually, that's not true. I'd been on quite a few dates. I would ask a girl out, someone I had no interest in any kind of sustained relationship with. We'd grab a bite, maybe hang out some after that, and maybe even go out once or twice after that. And that would be the end of it. So I didn't think of them as dates. To me, they were like practice. At least that's what I told myself. But today, seeing her in the gym, I knew today was going to be different. I could feel it. Today was the day I would make it happen. So as I proceeded with my workout, I made sure she saw me. She smiled. I smiled back. And it was just like old times. But today, she was in for a big surprise. As I waited for my chance, I kept getting more and more excited and more nervous till I saw her heading out for the front door. That's when I walked up behind her and tapped her on the shoulder. She jumped kind of and then turned around. She looked surprised to see it was me. I didn't want to say some ridiculous line, so I said what I'd been rehearsing all morning. Hey, do you want to do something sometime? And as soon as I said that, she blushed. I didn't expect that. Maybe she was nervous about talking to me too. Well, what do you want to do? She asked. Damn, I hadn't thought that far ahead. I don't know. Get something to eat, grab a coffee. Now she was getting redder by the second. This was very unnerving. I started getting embarrassed for her because I'd put her on the spot. And the redder she got, the more anxious I got. It was brutal. But then it happened. She gave me her phone number. And then she was gone. After she left, I felt awesome. When I got home, I was still feeling great. In fact, it felt so good that I started getting scared. This is just too good to be true. She was just being nice to me. If I call, she won't really return my call. Hell, she probably won't even answer her phone. I should just enjoy my victory and leave it at that. After several days of that nonsense, I finally decided to pick up the phone and call her. And she answered. And we talked for like 6 hours. It was like we were in middle school. We immediately connected. It was fun. I felt free. It was so nice. And that Friday, we went out on our first date. And after we sat down and ordered sushi, we started talking. And I got a little bit more relaxed. And then she looked at me straight in the eye. Why did you wait so long to say hi to me? You probably think I stuttered and stammered and dodged the question. But the fact is, I felt so comfortable and honest with her, I immediately answered. I was afraid. I figured I knew what kind of guy you wanted to be with, and I'm not that guy. You know, the fun-loving party guy. She paused a minute. You mean that I want to get you drunk and get in your pants guy? That's the last guy I want to be spending time with. The guy I want to be spending time with is you. Someone who is open and honest and treats me like a person. Someone who will have an actual conversation with me. I couldn't believe it. Everything I had been thinking about myself was wrong. The reality I had created for myself was nothing more than some make-believe illusion. And everything I had been doing was framed through that false reality, a make-believe dream world. I thought to myself, this sobriety thing is pretty cool. I was just myself tonight, and that was good enough. When I finally got up the nerve to talk to her, she liked me for just me. But even now I think about how many times I've done the same thing I did back then. How many times have I stopped myself from going after something I really wanted because I didn't think I was the right kind of guy? How many times have I stopped myself from taking a risk because I thought I was inadequate or that I didn't belong there? And I wonder how many times you have let the picture you have of yourself stop you from going after things that you really want. Maybe it's time to shift your reality and start accepting yourself just for who you are. Oh, and about that first date. The next day I called her up and asked her out again, and she said yes. I love this passage from Neville Goddard. The only way to change your expression of life is to change your concept of self or state of consciousness. For consciousness is the reality that eternally solidifies itself in things round about you. Man's world in its every detail is his consciousness outpictured. You can no more change your environment or world by destroying things than you can your reflection by destroying the mirror. Your environment and all within it reflects that which you are in consciousness. As long as you continue to be that in consciousness, you will continue to outpicture it in your world. Knowing this, begin to revalue yourself. Man has placed too little value upon himself. In the book of Numbers, you will read, "In that day there were giants in the land, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and we were in their sight as grasshoppers." This does not mean a time in the dim past when man had the stature of giants. Today is the day, the eternal now, when conditions around about you have attained the appearance of giants, such as unemployed, the armies of your enemy, your problems, and all the things that seem to threaten you. Those are the giants that make you feel yourself to be a grasshopper. But you are told you were first in your own sight as a grasshopper, and because of this, you were to the giants a grasshopper. In other words, you can only be to others what you are first to yourself. Therefore, to revalue yourself and begin to feel yourself to be a giant, a center of power, is to dwarf these former giants and make of them grasshoppers. Why not become aware of being great, loving, wealthy, healthy, and all the attributes that you admire? It's just as easy to possess the consciousness of these qualities as it is to possess their opposite. For you have not your present consciousness because of your world. On the contrary, your world is what it is because of your present consciousness. Simple is it not? Too simple, in fact, for the wisdom of man that tries to complicate everything. It is impossible for the poor man to find wealth in his world, no matter how he is surrounded with it, until he first claims himself to be wealthy. For signs follow, they do not proceed. To constantly kick and complain against the limitations of poverty while remaining poor in consciousness is to play the fool's game. Changes cannot take place from that level of consciousness, for life is constantly outpicturing all levels. I love this. Every man's conception of himself is going to be his reward. So you do not have to bother yourself about seeing whether or not man gets what you think he should get. For life makes no mistakes and always gives man that which man first gives himself. If you found this video valuable, please leave a comment below. I would love to hear your feedback. And if you'd like to learn more about how you can be the best version of yourself so you can create the life you want, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.